Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm joined by Keeley Dann. She's a friend of mine and also a relationship coach. Now Keeley and I met quite a few years ago. We were both dancers at the same time.
Yes.
So we both went through the professional dance route, and now she's gone on, she's done her coaching training, and you basically are all things self-love. Learning to love yourself, be kind, and that's kind of what we're going to talk through today. Keeley's broken things down into 4 kind of points.
Yes, 4 key points to have and help you cultivate a really happy, loving, healthy relationship with yourself. So I'm all about, you know, having these happy, healthy relationships with others, but in order to do that, you really need to have it with yourself first. So there's 4 key points or key ingredients that I'm going to talk to you about today.
And do you think that this has come from your own experiences? Like, why kind of looking at self-love? Is it kind of from your journey, do you think?
Yeah,
you've kind of realised?
Absolutely, yeah. I think from growing up, from a very young age, having gone through being bullied, I was bullied as a child, and up until probably my teenage years, and I didn't realise it at the time, but having done all of my stuff, I realised it had such a huge effect on me. And I think that when you don't love yourself, then you allow for others to treat you in a certain way. So it's really up to you to love yourself, know your worth, so you decide what you will and what you won't accept from others. And that was definitely something that I didn't do over the years, or because I didn't like myself, I was desperate to fit in with others, desperate to be liked or to be loved by others, and it hindered me often within my career or within relationships. So having been on my journey, I think it's something that I've realised you've really got to love yourself enough so that you can have healthy, loving relationships with others as well.
Okay, so let's get to it.
Yes.
What is your first point?
My first point, and I just want to say there are a lot of things or various things that, you know, help us have these loving relationships with ourselves, but I've just gone with 4 today. So the first one, first of all, is honouring yourself, and this is a big one for me. I'm all about honouring yourself, your feelings, and what it is that you want to do. So if you are in a situation, you know, it's wonderful to think about other people, to want to do things for other people, but more importantly, you have to think about yourself first. What is right for you? What do you want to do? And if you find yourself sacrificing yourself for the sake of somebody else, trying to please somebody else, or doing things that you don't really want to do, then you can end up getting lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people do often. We get lost because we find ourselves in this rut or this pattern of trying to be somebody else or please other people. And, you know, then you start thinking, who am I? What do I want to do? What actually, what are all these things going on for me? And it's really about getting in touch with your feelings. Your feelings don't lie, people. They're there to tell you what's going on.
You can't shut them out.
You can't shut them out. You can't ignore them, because they come up to the surface or they come out in the body somewhere. If something's going on for you, you've got to acknowledge it. And I think honouring yourself and what you want is so powerful. It's really empowering when you can do that. When you can actually go, is this what I want to do? Actually, no, you know, so what do I want to do? Because like I said, you can fall into a pattern of just doing or just being to please everybody else or for everybody else, and that is really where you lose yourself, your own sense of identity, who you are, what's important to you, your values. We all have different values and different needs, and you know, when we're having our needs met, then we're happy people.
Yeah.
But we have to honour those needs, and we have to honour ourselves.
But do you think, and I mean we did speak about this a little bit before we started filming, do you think this comes from a place of people not wanting to be seen as selfish? Like, you know, the word selfish. Let's have a little chat about that.
Let's put that word out there, the word selfish, because I think the word selfish has a negative connotation to it, and I think so many people are afraid of being selfish.
I am. Like, you know, I don't want people to be, oh God, Danielle, she's so selfish.
Yeah, absolutely. And when my boyfriend called me selfish when I first met him, and I was horrified. I was like, how dare you call me selfish? Like, I really took it to heart and felt like I was a terrible person for being selfish. Yeah. And then I had to get into that and realise, you know what, like, there are moments within our life where we do have to be selfish, because if, you know that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
If you are constantly doing things to not be selfish and to think about others, then you're not thinking about yourself. It's kind of like either them or you. So there are times where you do have to be selfish, and it's about changing how you look at that word and how you think about that word. It's not always a negative word, selfish.
Yeah.
And if you can learn to go, sometimes that's okay, I need to be selfish, it's not a negative, then it's more comforting, you're more able to do it. When I was able to go, do you know what, yeah, I have had to be selfish, but it's meant that it's made me happier, or it's given me certain things, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna make you happier, and I think that's really what honouring yourself is about, is this gonna make me happy, then it's important to do it. If you're doing something to make somebody else happy, then you're not honouring yourself.
Yeah.
And you cannot go through life like that, because you will be one unhappy little person.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you happy and other people happy, then
winner.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Absolute bonus. But ultimately, what you're saying is kind of do put yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there is that thing, we do have to compromise in life, but compromise and sacrifice are very, very different.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need to be asking yourself. If you're getting to a point where you're starting to feel unhappy, that is probably because you're not honouring yourself and your needs and doing what's right for you.
Yeah.
You might be on that end of the sacrifice spectrum too much.
Yeah.
So it's definitely having the balance.
Finding that balance. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely relate. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that as well. We've probably all done things at some point we thought, oh, I've said yes to that, and I don't want to go, I can't be bothered, or I don't feel comfortable, you know, and that's when we kind of have to know to say,
what do I want to do? Because then you end up feeling all these other things, or you do end up feeling all these negative things, because you've gone and done something that you didn't want to do.
Okay.
And actually, if you'd have just said, oh, I don't want to do that, you feel so much more empowered.
Yeah.
Number 2 is self-compassion. What is self-compassion? Self-compassion really is all about being kind to yourself. And we were talking about this, weren't we? How easy it is to be kind and warm and loving to others, but we don't always think about doing that towards ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, the one thing that I've learned, I used to constantly berate myself. So easy, and you're probably the same, and some of you, to put yourself down, to criticize yourself, to judge yourself. You know, if someone gives you a compliment, are you that person that's like, oh, don't compliment me, oh God, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to respond. Like, it can feel really uncomfortable to take that compliment. But we have to be our own biggest fan. We have to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves, because we want other people to be kind to us, you know. So if you judge and if you criticize yourself, all it does is I always say it's like it just chips away at you. It's like getting a little chisel, and you just chip away at yourself. Every time that you criticize and you judge yourself, that's all it does. It takes you into that darker hole. And I was so guilty of doing that when I was a dancer.
Oh God, I think everyone is. Like, it's so easy for us to say to ourselves, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you know, you're not tall enough. You would never say that to someone else.
Absolutely.
I would never turn around to anyone and say, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough. But we say it to ourselves
all the time without even thinking. But yet, we'd find it so hard to actually praise ourselves or big ourselves up, which we come to a bit later. But I think that it's really understanding, and this is the key point, that the perfect human does not exist, people. Like, it doesn't exist. We all make mistakes, we all fail, we all have weaknesses, we all, you know, we're all troubled at times, and it's about being kind and being loving to ourselves in that moment, rather than criticizing ourselves, berating ourselves, further putting ourselves down. We need to then say, do you know what, actually, what do I need? Let me be kind to myself. Let me give myself a hug. Let me show myself some love and some warmth. You know, how would I respond to a friend? That is self-compassion. And I think that so many of us need to do that a little bit more, myself included.
How do you think people can go about, like, practicing that? Like, do they literally need to kind of get up and actually say to themselves, like, if they look in the mirror, I look nice today, like, almost like verbally actually physically say it,
absolutely. I think so.
Yourself, like, kind of like self-affirmation type.
Self-affirmations help, I think. And you know, I've got this in my little booklet as well that I'm going to give to you guys. One thing that's really good is to think about how you would respond to somebody else that was saying those things, you know. So the things that you're saying to yourself, if you are telling yourself off or criticizing yourself, whatever, like you just said, you wouldn't say to somebody else, oh, you know, you're not tall enough, or you're not this. if your friend was saying that to you, what would you say to them? You would want to make them feel better,
yeah,
right? You would want to speak to them in a kinder way. So think about what you would say to your friend, and in that moment when you find yourself judging yourself, stop, switch it up, and change the vocabulary, change what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
And honestly, it will have such a powerful effect, because you just go down that little rabbit hole, dark little rabbit hole of going, I'm crap, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, whereas just the minute you change that way you're speaking to yourself and your mindset, you lift yourself back up.
Yeah.
You know,
as girls especially, we all cheer on our girlfriends.
Absolutely.
We're always like, oh my God, look at her go. Look at her walk down the street.
Yeah.
Her and her bad self. She looks incredible. And yet we do need to
be able to do that to ourselves. Yeah, you're so right. I love appreciating other women, you know, but we've got to appreciate ourselves. Which actually leads me into my next point.
Okay, go.
Nicely. See how we did that? Smooth. We made that work. So the next point is self-appreciation.
Okay.
Because again, very similar. We are very good at appreciating other people, or you know, me and you, at least I know.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are. But do you appreciate yourself enough? Do you celebrate yourself, your achievement, your wins, or do you find it uncomfortable to big yourself up? Does that feel uncomfortable?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But not because I don't think I have celebrated or I've achieved anything. I can look back and think, actually, I've done all right, but I would never really want to say that out loud.
Well, that's it.
But that's out of a fear of being seen as arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want people to think oh, she's full of herself. She loves herself.
She loves herself. I love that line. She loves herself. How many people are afraid of being told that you love yourself? Because I definitely grew up thinking,
I'm afraid.
If someone said to me, oh God, she loves herself, I'd be like, oh God, that's really negative. But again, why can't we love ourselves? Why shouldn't we love ourselves? Like, it's a necessity. The one thing I've learned is it is a necessity. You have to love yourself. If you want other people to love you, you have to love yourself first.
Yeah.
You've got to show them how to show up, how to respond to you. And if you don't love yourself, then you basically give them permission to treat you in a less than way that you deserve.
It's kind of like that thing where people say, and this is now going on to relationships with other people, which I know you also kind of deal with, but it's not kind of what today's about. But when people say no one else can love you until you love yourself.
Absolutely,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I definitely get that now from growing up. You know, like when I was bullied and I was younger, I used to stand there and feel like I was inferior.
Yeah.
And kind of like I was deserving of being spoken to in that way.
That's awful.
I know, it's crazy now.
Awful.
I've done the work.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always work to be done, but I used to stand there because I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
And I would feel like it was okay for those people to speak to me like that because I believed that I wasn't as good as them. You know, whereas nowadays, and the reason I can say that is because nowadays I don't believe that at all. I think I would never allow anybody to speak to me like that because I love myself enough to know actually I am worthy and I shouldn't be spoken to like that.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, again, that's why it's so, you know, important that we do love ourselves and appreciating yourself and celebrating your wins and saying I love myself. There's nothing wrong with that. There is a huge difference between arrogance and cockiness and self-appreciation. Like there really is. You don't want to get to the other end of the spectrum where you become that arrogant, cocky person.
No.
But there isn't anything wrong with saying, you know, I am good at this. You know, these are my achievements. I want to celebrate this about myself.
Yeah.
Because I think so many of us are so quick to, like I said, put ourselves down or ignore that or not show that, and then we're constantly walking around feeling like we're not good enough.
Yeah.
When actually, if you go deep, everybody has beautiful, amazing, unique qualities within them, unique to them.
Yeah.
But we just don't celebrate them enough.
Yeah.
And so again, how are you going to love yourself if you're not celebrating all of those amazing things about you?
Yeah, I mean the number of DMs that I get, and obviously I put up a lot of fitness kind of content, a lot of videos and things, and I get a lot of messages from people saying, oh, but how do I either, you know, maybe lose a bit more weight, or how do I get, you know, slimmer arms? And they'll say, I've been doing your videos loads, how do I do this? And I'm like, hang on, why don't you just like appreciate the fact that you're getting through the videos, like you're doing the workouts, you're doing the videos, you're getting from 0 to the end of the workouts, like that, like see that
as an achievement,
as an achievement
in itself.
Don't look at trying to look like a Victoria's Secret model.
No,
because like you said, there isn't a perfect person.
No.
Like,
and do what's right for you. Celebrate you and how far you've come. And I think that's a really good point. Like whilst, you know, it's amazing to want to look forward and reach goals and things like that, so many of us forget about how far we've come.
The journey.
The journey. Like, I'm so guilty of that, you know, and it's something that I have to remind myself. Like, this is the thing, guys, we all need to practice this. There's no like, oh, you're just cured. It's like, it's all a journey. But when you're aware of it, it means that you can then make a choice. So when I find myself doing that, I can make a choice to go back and go, okay, actually, how well have I done? What have I done? How far have I come? Look at where I was last week, last month, or whatever. And then that again puts you back into that place of feeling empowered, of feeling great within yourself, which is, you know, what we want to be feeling all the time. So yes, so self-appreciation. You've got to be your own biggest fan, guys. You've got to be cheerleading for you all the way if you want anybody else to show up and do the
100%.
same.
I think I'm great.
Me too.
I think, in fact, you know what? Right, I'm just cutting in for a second.
I love it, go for it.
So I think I have quite nice arms.
Good, I think you have nice arms as well, Danielle, actually.
Okay, go.
I think that I have great eyelashes.
Oh, you really do. I almost got that.
And I think I'm a really kind person. I think I'm a really good person as well.
Love yourself. You don't have to be cocky or arrogant, but you can be like,
absolutely. Self-appreciate.
Okay, so are we on to our
fourth and final ingredient for you to have a wonderful, loving, happy relationship with yourself, and that is self-acceptance.
Okay.
Which is a biggie for me, especially after having grown up being bullied, constantly wanting to be somebody else, which some of you might identify with. You know, I'd still quite like to be a Victoria's Secrets model, you know, but I've accepted who I am and that's not going to happen. And I'm alright with that.
That's alright.
A girl can dream every now and again.
Well, there are Victoria's Secret models that are going to want to have qualities that you've got that they don't have. So,
exactly, see? It works both ways. But yeah, it's a real biggie, and I think the minute you learn to accept yourself, like, and understand that you are not going to be right for everybody, not everybody is going to like you, like, when you accept that, it's liberating. You literally set yourself free. Because otherwise you're going to spend so much of your life trying to be liked, trying to fit in, you know, not showing up as you. And ultimately this is what we want to do. We want to show up in our lives as ourselves, as who we are, and you know, and loving and liking ourselves for that, because that's when life flows. You know, when you're trying to play pretend, it's hard bloody work. Like, it really is. I've been there, desperate to fit in. And the only way that you're going to accept yourself is by you know, is learning to love every part of you unconditionally. Again, all the flaws, all the imperfections, you know, learning that that's you. Nobody else is perfect, nobody else is you. Every single person has things that they don't like about themselves, you know, but the energy that you waste on that is like, you're wasting your life. You've got to accept it's who you are, it's part of you. If you can change it, you know, if there's something that you can change, that if it's that big a thing, then look at changing it and change it so that, again, it's not bringing you down. But otherwise, you know, for me, being bullied because of my race, funnily enough, I couldn't change that. So I could have gone through my whole life hating who I was, feeling like I wasn't as pretty as the other girls because of, you know, because of the colour of my skin. But at some point, thank God, I realised I've got to accept myself. You know, I'm not right for those people, but there's other people that I am right for, because I love myself enough to know that I'm okay, that I am enough. And so self-acceptance is so huge in, you know, self-love and having that relationship with yourself. It's about loving yourself unconditionally, even all the imperfections, even the parts that you don't necessarily like, you got to get to like them.
And I think as well, like what you said, obviously, if there are things you can change, you know, there might be, you know, I don't like the fact that I actually am quite shy when I meet people. It's part of me. I've always been quite shy growing up. So I can, like, it's okay for me to want to better myself in terms of overcome my shyness, but I still need to accept that I am a shy person when I first meet someone. So I think it's okay
instead of giving yourself a hard time about that.
It's okay to have things that maybe we don't necessarily really love about ourselves. But as long as we are thinking about them with the view to better ourselves for our own benefit, not for someone else's benefit.
Oh, absolutely, and that's key, and that's exactly it, Dan. I think it's that thing of going, I accept myself although I still want to grow. If there's still ways in which I can grow, absolutely. But there are things that are just part of you, that make you up and make you who you are. And those bits you have to accept and love, because when you you know, when you learn to accept and love your weaknesses, no one else can then use them against you.
Yeah.
You become so much more resilient to other people going, oh, I don't like you, or I don't like that about you. And, you know, rejection's always tough and it's hard to deal with. And if you do want to change, exactly, change for you. Don't ever change for somebody else.
Yeah.
Never change for another person, because again, then you're going to live a life of misery, because you're trying to show up as a pretend version of yourself, which is hard work.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to. You're one of a kind for a reason. So accept everything about you that you can, and still grow in the areas in which you choose to grow and that you want to grow and that you can grow. But the minute you accept who you are deep down, love yourself unconditionally, honestly, you will set yourself free.
You'll be honestly the happiest person that, I mean, I'm still not there. There are still, you know, things.
Yeah, but the same for, you know, same for me. And that's what I mean. Like, it's all about kind of always doing the work and moving forward. Like, there's still things that I'm still working on accepting, but looking back and how I was in terms of not liking myself at all. You know, this is how I've created this relationship with myself, where you know, creating this self-love, going all the way back from when I was younger to totally disliking myself because other people told me that I wasn't good enough because of my skin color. You know, it's kind of like, well, I have to accept that. I can't keep listening to these other people. You know, and that's really what it's about. It's just knowing that you won't be for everybody, but you'll be for the right people, as long as you love and accept yourself.
Okay, so I'm hoping that those 4 points helped. I mean, they definitely helped me. Like, I feel like every time I do these videos, it's a little therapy session for me. It's great. So keep letting us know what else you want, because it's like I get therapy every time. But before we kind of wrap it up, I feel as though we need to talk a little bit about social media, because in everything that you've said, which I'm totally like going to try and stick to those 4 and, you know, do all those things and really kind of learn to love myself. But then you go on social media, you go on Instagram, and you compare yourself with other people. Comparisonitis. Yeah, like
killer disease.
It is, it is a disease. And what would be your advice to someone who just can't shake the kind of comparisons?
It's so hard, and let me tell you, I compare myself. I would be stupid to sit here and say to you, don't compare yourself to others. Like, I'm not going to tell you that, because I think it's just genetically within every human. It's what we do. But the point is you need to be able to have a healthy boundary with that. So you need to be aware of when you are starting to do that, when it's starting to take you down an unhealthy path, you know, that dark little rabbit hole that we can all end up going down. When I find myself going to that place, I know at that point I need to change something. I need to stop. I need to come off of social media, put the phone down. I need to go and do something for me, something that makes me feel good. Either that, you know, looking back at what I've done, where I've come from, because in truth, the only people we should ever be comparing ourselves to are ourselves. You know, looking back at where I've come from, at what I've achieved, that instantly makes me feel better. You know, social media is getting even bigger. It's always going to be there, and it's really about learning how to manage it for yourself, because you're always going to have that battle. That battle's always going to be there in life, even if you didn't have social media. When you see people, you know, in life, but you've got to find a way of dealing with that works for you. And that is at that point, being aware of when you're going down that dark rabbit hole. Because if you're sitting on social media for hours and hours and hours doing this to yourself, it's self-torture. You know,
the only person you're affecting is yourself.
You've got to be the one to take control of that. You know, it's your choice as to whether you want to keep putting yourself in that situation, if you want to keep feeling like that, or you don't. And so again, I do it, but I have the awareness so that when it's happening, I can be aware of that, and then I can make a choice and do something that's going to be more relevant to me and my happiness, you know. And also, one of the other things I would say is surround yourself with the right people. You know, I could do a whole other video on this, but surrounding yourself with the right people that get you, that want to cheer you on. Because if you look on social media, everything that you see, we know it's not true. We know
everyone's highlight reel,
it's everyone's highlight. People are feeling the same as you at times. We all go through times where we feel crap, we're doubting ourselves, we're unhappy, we're having an argument with our boyfriend, whatever it is. We all go through those times, but you won't always see that on social media. But if you have the right people that surround you, that you trust, that trust you, you know, that you can then be vulnerable with, you can open up to. I can ring my mate and say, oh God, I feel like this today, or I feel like that. then I'm going to feel like a real person when she says to me, I'm the same. You know, just being able to relate. You can't relate to people on social media. One, because it's a screen in front of you. And two, because it's not true.
You need that real interaction.
You need that real interaction.
You know, it's great for, you know, inspiration, and it's great for, you know, a bit of guidance, or if there's someone, you know, like, obviously I'd like to think people look at us on social media, you know, and obviously
absolutely. It has
page
so many great aspects.
There's nothing better than actual physical kind of conversation and actual, you know, actually having that connection with
that relationship,
with someone,
with the right people.
With the right people, So but I feel like social media was an important thing to just kind of touch on.
Absolutely,
because it is all part. It is literally now becoming day to day. And I remember I got to a point I had to delete apps off my phone. I had to delete Twitter and Instagram off my phone at certain times of the day.
See, but that's exactly it. You've got to do what's right for you. You know what's right for you. Again, it comes to honouring yourself. Know what you need to do.
And this is even having a job in social media. I had to do it. And it was technically like being at work, and I'd re-download it, do my work, and then have to delete it again because I was getting into
that rut. I find myself on it, and then I think, why am I on this? Like anyone else does as well. I think all of a sudden, so I've given myself, like, you know, when I'm at home having dinner, phone away. So it's like everything in life. You've got to set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries for you that work for you.
Okay, I really hope that that's helped
some
of you guys watching, because I mean there was so much information there.
So much information. Once I go, there's no stopping me.
I know that there's more, that like more places that people can find you, more things that they can get. Like, just I'm gonna let you just say, so I'll mess it up.
So you can find me on my social media, Instagram. Let's go for it. Instagram is Keeley_Dann. Or you can find me, I have a wonderful Facebook community called Wonderful Worthy You, my Facebook group, which I go into often to give you lots of valuable tips and content.
And you put videos on there, right?
And I do videos, and I've just started a YouTube channel as well, which is Keeley Dann. So I'll be doing more on that as well. And I'm gonna also pop a link down for a little workbook to self-love, everything that I've talked about with some actionable steps for you to take, so that you have something to click on and start working with.
I'm going to get my workbook.
Yeah, you get your workbook and start working on it, yes. And I'd love to hear how you get on. So do let me know. And if you want to send me a little email or anything like that, I'm all for chats over that as well. It's info@keeleydan.com. So you can let me know if this has helped you. I love hearing from people, like, because you put this stuff out, and if it has helped you, or if there's anything, then I want to hear it. Just send me an email and say, I like this bit, or, you know, I didn't like this bit. I'm open to it all.
Even if it helps just one person.
Then I've done my job. Yeah, we've done our job. I always say that.
If you think maybe that this might not have helped you, but could be really beneficial to a friend of yours or a relative, you know, obviously share it on, you know, that this is kind of what this content is here.
Absolutely, pass it on, give it to somebody that needs it.
Be all right with the self-appreciation and the self-love, and
you might have accepted yourself already, which is fabulous.
But you might have a power that isn't quite there yet. So, you know, sharing is caring after all, and that is why we make these videos. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Keeley, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, I mean, we'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.